So I'm at Hat-Yai Municipal Park. I've done 87.72 kilometers and I'm done. It's about 5 kilometers from here to my house, and you know, I was really hoping to get 100 kilometers in today, but not really, I don't think so. Not gonna happen. Strava's made me lost. Well done, Strava. It doesn't give any directions at all on Strava. It just says, like, you know, when you turn on the prompts, it says pausing, continuing, and that's it. It doesn't tell you, okay, turn left in how many meters or anything. I made this route yesterday with the intention of riding it today. And so I actually thought, you know, Strava is not that great at giving directions, I remember from before. So I thought I'll put it in my Google Maps, because that's a lot better at giving directions. And the trails and tracks that I made on Strava, they're not showing up on Google because they're trails like this. I mean, this is actually not on the route I made at all, this part here. But on Strava it does show up. On Google it doesn't. Even more lost now. I'm gonna go back the way I came. I feel like swearing right now. A couple of villagers then just gave me directions to get back to Surfers Road, and then get back to the road that I'm actually trying to get to. I mean, coming all the way in here, just trying to find that road on the other side. Didn't work. So I've got quite a way back to get back to the Surfers Road again now. We're back on the Surfers Road again, and we've got to get down to a little village and then turn left, which the villagers say will take me back to the road that I want to get to. There's some serious climbing on this route, that's why I chose it. See straight ahead of us. Still on the right track. No thanks to Strava. Just then I went past a rubber tree plantation, and they're planting bamboo in the rubber tree plantation amongst the rubber trees. Don't know what that's about. I mean, that bamboo, that grows very high, very fast. So eventually it's just going to kill the rubber trees, I'm sure. Obviously the farmer's got a plan. There's lots of rubber tree plantations, like left and right here, up and down all over. But this one on the left here is completely overgrown, so obviously whoever's tapping the trees is not doing it anymore. On the right it looks a bit better, but again, I don't think that's been harvested. Oh yeah, there's a guy right there, yeah. It is being harvested. Yeah, lots of rubber around here. But the price of rubber in Thailand is really not good. The Chinese have seen to that. They've started growing their own rubber, and they're buying up swathes of land in Burma and planting rubber trees there so they can directly compete with Thailand now with growing rubber. Whereas in the past they used to have to import it from Thailand, but now they're basically growing their own. So Burma's kind of selling out to the Chinese. But you know, that's what the Chinese do, isn't it? They just take advantage of poor countries. They loan them money to build mega projects that probably aren't going to work, with the Chinese full knowledge of that. And then once they start defaulting on payments, the Chinese start closing in on them, saying, okay, well, you have to give us, you know, a certain area of your land, or, you know, pretty much anything. They're in the bargaining seat. They can basically ask for what they want. And it's happening all throughout the South Pacific as well. The South Pacific Islands, they're all becoming indebted to the Chinese. And the Chinese, you know, they sort of go in. There's one island, or one island nation down in what is it? It's, I guess it's part of Australasia, Pacific Islands. Well, yeah, somewhere down there. And I can't even remember the name of the country. But they were sort of suckered in by the Chinese to invest in this deep sea port. And the Chinese knew full well that this country couldn't afford it. And it, you know, either way, it wasn't going to work out anyway for that country. And the Chinese had a master plan. They wanted a deep sea port there for their navy. So they lent money to the country. There was an Australian investigation. It was a documentary into this particular thing. I really can't remember the name of the country. It's one of these very small, poor South Pacific islands, island nations. And Australia feel as though they should be helping them out because they're probably their closest neighbour as far as developed nations are concerned. Oh, this is getting a bit steep here. Glad I'm on my Santa Cruz today. Sorting my tyres out. Yeah, anyway, back to the topic. So yeah, this island nation, they borrowed this huge amount of money from China. China knowing full well they couldn't afford it, they couldn't pay it back. And so now China's reining them in, saying, okay, well, we're going to have to take over and make it our naval port, deep sea naval port in the South Pacific, which is exactly what China wanted. They wanted a naval presence down there. You know, this trouble they're in at the moment about the South China Sea, you know, with all these other nations staking claims to it, and China basically bullying the others. They're building, they're and fortifying, I think that's the word, the island. I mean, they've even built their own island, and it's fortified now, just to say, look, this is ours. That's just bullying. Is it Guam? Now, I'm probably way off, but I seem to remember something like that. Nice and steep. Yeah. I was kind of expecting it. The total climbing on this route is 733 meters. And yeah, it's just about started, I think. I think, you know, this is just like the appetizer. It's going to get a lot worse than this. Worse, I mean better, or whichever way you look upon it. Well, that's a good portion of the climb over. Now for a bit of downhill. I'll leave the camera on.
I don't care if you think I'm a clown. I don't care 'cause you can't pin it down. You can't pin it down. I'm everything you can't define. I'm always gonna cross your line. You can't pin me down, pin me down. Can't pin me down, pin me down, pin me down. You can't pin me down, pin me down. you need to get your eyes checked. I don't care if you think I'm stuck up. I don't care cause you can't call my bluff. I don't care if you think I'm a clown. I don't care cause you can't pin it down. You can't pin it down. I'm everything you can't define.
Almost made it to the top of this little slope, just with momentum. You probably saw I crouched down just to reduce my drag and built up a bit of speed to get up that slope. Almost worked. That was a bit of a panic. Loose sand on the road right in the corner. I was actually accelerating it. Back in my army days we would call that a pucker moment. I'm sure I don't need to go into detail. This is almost like the north of Thailand, you know, these sort of checkpoints along the jungle roads, the mountain roads. Just reminds me of the north, up in the north, Chiang Mai area. So, we're still en route, wow. Okay, this is Walang, third climb. Okay, is that 4 kilometers? I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be a pretty fun trail, I think, this one. But I won't keep the camera on all the time because we won't be able to record all the footage. So I'll just turn it off for a while now during this climb.